What happens when athletes of all abilities come together to push past limits, break barriers, and prove that everyone belongs at the starting line? I'm your host, Adam Stakeman, and on this episode of ThriveIN Wabash County, we're diving into the incredible movement known as MyTeam Triumph. I'm joined by three special guests who are living proof that inclusion and teamwork can change not just a race, but lives. This is more than a story about running a 5K or finishing a triathlon. It's about community, courage, and the unstoppable power of saying yes to extraordinary challenges. If you're looking for inspiration, you've come to the right place because this conversation will move you in more ways than one. Friends, welcome back to the ThriveIN Wabash County podcast, where each week we share stories of the people and the organizations that are making positive changes right here in Wabash County. Today's episode for me is exceptionally special because we're talking about MyTeam Triumph, an organization that I've been welcomed into and had the opportunity to participate with over the last couple of years. It's going to be a heck of a conversation, and as I prepared for this last night, I actually got teary-eyed, and so I'm hoping that I can keep it together tonight when we're all sitting here recording. But I have three friends with me in this podcast studio. I have Todd Schindler, an angel. He is also the head volunteer and organizer for the local chapter of MyTeam Triumph. And then I have Matt Bohner, who is the captain, one of the captains with MyTeam Triumph here in Wabash County. And then I have Lindsay Swihart, who works at ARC and has also participated as an angel as well. Welcome to the podcast studio.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Todd, I thought we would start with you, and I think you're really responsible for bringing MyTeam Triumph to Wabash County in the current fashion.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear a little bit about how you were introduced to it and how you've gotten it to the point where it is today.
Okay, yeah. It was not a plan that I ever had dreamed of. It wasn't something that was on the horizon for me to get involved with. But back in 2021, we had a young man at our church pass away. And I had the opportunity to walk alongside their family for the 18 months that Evan Exmeyer was on hospice. And he had cerebral palsy. So he didn't communicate. He had never spoken a day in his life. He spoke with his eyes, and you learned how to communicate with him. And I learned so much in that year and a half with that family. And it changed me and sent me kind of looking for, like, what am I supposed to do with a body that can run and has been athletic for several years. And I was on a course of running like a half marathon every 6 weeks in 2022. But had this nagging thing inside of me, this missing part after being with Evan and just thinking about, like, I bet he would love to be doing what I'm doing. But here I am doing it and he's not able to and all. So yeah, on a rainy day in August of 2022, I walked into Cloud9 Multisport up in Winona Lake, and there was a lady working in there named Barb Martz, who's the president of MyTeam Triumph. And she had a shirt on with a logo on it. I'm looking at their shoes and just checking it out. And I said, so what's MyTeam Triumph all about? And she starts telling me about how she races with special needs children and special ability athletes and kind of what they do. And it's one of the first times in my life I've ever just honestly felt like God's moving right now. And I told her, I said, I don't know if you believe in Jesus or not, but this is a Jesus moment right now. And hair standing up on the back of my neck, and I've got goosebumps everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know what this looks like, but I'm in. So I've got one more race to run next week, and then I'm with you. So we ended up going and racing up in Fort Wayne. I raced with one of the athletes from Warsaw that year in Fort for Fitness. And it's like, I'm hooked. This is exactly what I was looking for. Mm-hmm. And we had a sermon series out at church. FOR was just FOR. People see stickers on cars around town like that. And it's just about being for others, like God is for them. And it just completed that whole puzzle of, like, the whole that's missing because of Evan. And I'm supposed to be for other people with this body that can do things. What's it look like and what's it supposed to be? And this was it. And it's exploded from there.
And so that led you into doing that very first race with the Warsaw chapter.
Yeah, with Kayla from Warsaw. Yeah.
So for people that aren't familiar with MyTeam Triumph, what is it? What do you do?
Well, we allow people of all abilities the opportunity to experience endurance sports and cross that finish line to cheers and that they may not get to experience at any other time. And so we do that with special chairs. We have custom-made race chairs from a company out in Washington State that we utilize. We do have some athletes that may be able to go on foot for a short distance, like a 1-mile race, or some of them up to maybe a 5K if there's somebody who is autistic and needs an angel along with them to help get them through that race. But it's really, honestly, anything we need to do, we're going to figure out a way to help somebody who wants to experience an endurance sport to do that. So we're doing 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, triathlons, distance cycling events. Those are the core events and races that we take captains to. And when I use the term captain, every team has a captain. And so we're a team. So we have the person in the chair, the person with the special ability, not a disability. It's just different and they're special. They are the captain of the team. And so it's all about them. And their names are on the chairs as Captain Matt, who I race with a majority of the time. I pass him off every once in a while. I've got a new captain that's racing and the family's more comfortable with somebody who's been doing it a while or whatever. But yeah, they're the captain. And then the person behind the chair or the person pulling the chair is termed an angel, because in events, it's not about us. And angels aren't seen, and we don't want to be seen. We want the person in the chair to receive all the applause and all the cheering. So most races we don't even register for unless the event makes us have a bib number. We don't register. The captain's registered. The finish time is there. The bib numbers is there. We're just there to make it happen. Yeah.
Because I think it's relevant. Share with our listeners what you've done for a living and then what you're currently doing for a living, because I do think it's relevant.
Yeah. So I've spent 20 years as a firefighter paramedic. And so I've taken care of a lot of people with all kinds of different injuries and or disabilities. And then currently I work for Lutheran Hospital on their helicopters as a critical care flight paramedic.
Yeah. I say that it's relevant because, one, I think it shows of your caring and your giving heart. But I also think that it's put you in a position where some of these families that may not be trusting of just a regular person off of the street to say, yeah, take my child who, right, the most important thing in our lives, to say, go run a half marathon, but they trust you to be there for their child in case there is a need.
Yeah, and that's played a role in some of our athletes getting the opportunity to experience it that first time.
Yeah.
We've, from Evie, that's raced with us, now her mom is racing her half marathons and triathlons, but initially they felt more comfortable if I took her, to coming up here in a couple weeks. We've got a Fort for Fitness event that we're going to be in, and I've got a 5-year-old that's going to get to do her first ever 10K, but she's got a severe seizure disorder. So we'll be carrying medication along with us and everything to care for her, why her parents trust us enough to give her to us for about 50 minutes to go do a 10K. And if something were to happen, we'll take care of it right there along the side of the road until an ambulance gets there.
So you go from that first race where you're running with a chapter that's in Warsaw, not too far from here.
No.
But there's a difference between just participating in an event that you just have to show up to and run, and now doing what you've done. And we'll get into the details of the money that you've raised and the equipment you've been able to purchase. But what was inside of you that just said, I need to do more?
I think just seeing the joy of all of the different captains. I think we had 5 or 6 captains racing that race. And, we're at Fort for Fitness, we get about a 10-minute head start. So they have a special start for us, and to see the joy in Kayla's face, to see the excitement, as we crossed home plate at Fort for Fitness as a finish line. And, she has just got a smile from ear to ear, and she's hugging me, and her mom's went to take pictures of us together and celebrating the medal that she just got and all. And it's like, man, there's something here that we could do something like this back in Wabash. And I had the opportunity to get to know Lindsay because of a dog that I have. I've got Oakley, that's a therapy dog and a PTSD dog. And we'd been into ARC and formed a relationship there. And the light just went off in my head, like, man, I need to get a hold of Lindsay. I wanted to go experience it first to see if this really what Barb was saying it was. And once I knew it was, it's like, man, I got to get a hold of Lindsay. And there's like a whole community of people in Wabash that need the opportunity to experience this.
Yeah. It's amazing how things start to align when you're open to these opportunities and things are aligning and you're willing to say yes to things in your life that you're not sure where they're going to lead.
Yeah.
And so the stars align that you met Lindsay, that you met Barb, Now you're introduced now to your captain, Matt, and racing on a regular basis. And then for me, the stars start to align because you and Matt start showing up at the run club.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's a couple guys there that I've never met before and just having a good time.
Yeah.
In the cold, in the rain, in the snow.
Yeah.
And the guy with the biggest smile is Matt.
Always.
Matt, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Let's go. What was going through your mind the very first time that you crossed a finish line with MyTeam Triumph and with your angel Todd?
This is crazy fun. I didn't think I would ever do something like this.
That's awesome.
Lindsay or Todd, Matt, are you familiar with Team Hoyt?
Yeah.
The father and son. This is like a full circle for me because I grew up and that was really my first exposure to inclusive racing.
Yeah.
And they really broke a lot of barriers for a lot of people. In the show notes, I'll put a link to a video of Team Hoyt and the father-son duo of Rick and Dick Hoyt. Dick, the father, had a son who I believe had cerebral palsy, and they completed probably 7 full Ironmans together. I think it ended up being like 33 Boston marathons.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable, and the bond that occurred between those two, and really opened up for what people like we're able to do now in MyTeam Triumph, and they have an entire organization called Team Hoyt as well.
Exactly, yeah. And like you said, them breaking down barriers, that's the premise of what MyTeam Triumph started with, is a couple physical therapists in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is where the base is for MyTeam Triumph, the national headquarters, watching that and then thinking, what about the kids that don't have a dad that could do that for them?
Mm-hmm.
So they went out and found a couple strollers that they could push somebody in, and then it has just exploded to where it's in 8 to 10 states, and there's multiple chapters, and it's a national organization, but Rick and Dick Hoyt broke those barriers.
Yeah. Even the entry at that point, a lot of times I know that organizations had hesitations of allowing them to even race.
Oh, yeah.
Or to put a boat into an Ironman event was unheard of at that point. So.
Yeah, and we're facing that in some of our events that we do here. Where Matt's a trailblazer. So we've got events at when Fisher's triathlon this year, that was their first ever inaugural triathlon, and working with them to tell them, hey, we want to come down and we want to bring boats, and this is what it looks like, and all. And they were arms wide open to try to work with us, but it was a completely new experience for them.
Yeah. Now, Lindsay, welcome in.
Thanks.
Your day-to-day job, you're at ARC of Wabash County, is that right?
Yes.
And what kind of role do you have there?
So I am the director of ancillary programs and services. So that encompasses a lot of things, but I lead some of our advocacy efforts, Advocacy, Human Rights, and Inclusion Committee. And then I'm also over our community support program, which we take individuals out in the community doing volunteering. We take them to exercise. We do just a variety of different things, cooking classes. We also have the Kaleidoscope Studio where they're able to produce artwork that we're hoping to sell. And then I do some of the new hire orientation and things like that. But really just focusing on our advocacy efforts and getting the individuals that we support out in the community.
And so this MyTeam Triumph really aligns with your responsibilities.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And it is outside of the norm of some of the other opportunities that you've been able to present to ARC and the participants.
Right. Yes.
So when Todd first approaches you about this opportunity, what are your first thoughts?
So I had actually just started running. I'm not from the running world. I played volleyball growing up, but did not run. And so when he started talking to me, I had just started running like just a few months before that. Now, when I say run, it's not like the run that you two do, but it's a jog walk thing. So he was telling me about it, and I was like, oh, I just started this. I was getting excited about it. And then just knowing the individuals that we support, and hearing Todd's excitement when he's talking to me, like that got me super excited about it too. And he said, do you think that there would be anybody that would be interested? And I'm like, oh, yes, absolutely. And I said, and actually I'm interested too. And it just really, again, was that full circle thing. We had already been working together with the therapy dogs. And so it was just exciting to branch outside of that and to see, because my thing with individuals that we support is just that they really are a part of the community and that they're not just living here.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been kind of my motto. And so this just felt to me like we are really going to be able to break down some barriers for people and to really just bring people together and develop those relationships. And so that was what I was really most excited about. It wasn't necessarily the running part, but it was just bringing people together and helping to break down the idea of what people can or can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the individuals in, our captains, our angels have all different abilities too. I'm never going to be the fastest one, but when I race with whoever I'm racing with. Primarily, I've raced with Kim. That's been my captain most of the time. She's so encouraging. Mm-hmm. And that's an encouragement to me to see. And I've told her, I said, I'm so sorry that I'm not faster. I'm sorry that we're not. And she's like, I just really like being out with you. And so those are the moments that you're like, it's not even about anything other than those relationships and bringing people together.
What kind of changes have you seen in the captains like Matt who are showing up every week, whether it's training runs or it's a 5K, 10K, a triathlon? I get to see Matt when we're at the events. Mm-hmm. Have you seen a change in just an excitement for life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just brings a new dimension into conversations. You can have different conversations, or we're talking about when's the next race, and then other, people that we support are getting on board, and they're like, well, can I join? When can I do it? And so we've been able to bring on more individuals who aren't necessarily getting out in the community as much, which is great. Like, I love that when they're wanting to be a part of this. And again, it's more about who their angel is going to be. They're asking, who can I run with so-and-so? Uh-huh. But when they see them out in the community, those are the moments that it's not the race field. You're making those connections and they're able to have those conversations outside of a 5K or a 10K. So to see them, hey, Matt, when we're out in the community, call them by name because they've raced with them. They've seen their name.
I've seen Kim. I've seen Eric out at Kroger before doing their shopping, and I would have never had that opportunity to say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
But now I do.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it.
Yeah. It just brings people together in a different way, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Now, talking about growing the organization in the locals, you've been, I think, very forward thinking, and you've held annual events probably 2 times a year at the YMCA and then also at the city pool. They kind of serve 2 purposes: introduce it to the angels as well as the captains and their families, but also as a way to say thank you to everyone that volunteers as well.
Right. Yeah. Trying to look for ways, again, as Lindsay says, just to bring people together and build those relationships, because that's something about when you're giving of yourself and you're racing with somebody. Something I challenge angels with is learn how your captain communicates. We've had the opportunity to have some school teams, volleyball team up from North Manchester run with us, some other athletes from the schools run with us, and challenge them, pushing up here, figure out how they communicate, and then you'll be able to communicate with them at school, and it breaks down that barrier. But for us as adults, it allows us to see them in the community, just like Lindsay said, and then communicate and talk with them.
Sure.
We've got some that are nonverbal, and they talk with their eyes. But when you learn how to talk to them in question format, and then what their yes is and their no is and all, you can stand there in Walmart having a conversation, and people are looking going, wow, this is cool. But the events we had at the Y, we wanted something, it's cold. It's wintertime. Let's do something fun. So we rented the Y, we inflated our triathlon boats, threw them in, and invited families to come because we wanted to see what kind of excitement we might have for triathlons this year to maybe up the number that we would do. And families were concerned about putting their child with cerebral palsy who can't swim in a boat and send them out into a lake or a body of water that they're definitely not going to touch, but they'd be more comfortable in a pool. So we had lifeguards, had everybody there, just had fun and swam around with them in the pool, let their families get in together. The other part of it is this logistical part that I hadn't thought about until you start becoming a part of this community is people who have a J tube or a G tube. If they have a feeding tube, they can't get in lake water, but they can get in pool water. So having events at the city pool, having events at the Y allows a family to get in and Now you're standing back watching a dad with their daughter floating around in the pool and having fun. And I'm sitting there with tears in my eyes going, man, this is awesome that these people are coming together and forming a whole new family.
Yep. And Matt, I've seen you at those events as well. You like just hanging out with all the people, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the stress of the race that's going on. It's just a community.
Yeah.
Matt, what has been one of the most memorable moments or races that you've participated in with MyTeam Triumph?
Going to the Ohio Donut bicycling race and eating donuts every 10 miles.
That is my type of race, Matt. And how many donuts did you end up eating?
Yeah.
You had 3?
Yeah.
And Todd, how many donuts did you have?
I had one.
Okay.
So I had one. I had some miles to ride. So
I'm going to have to do that ride next year because that's right up my alley.
it is a lot of fun. There's 1,600 cyclists there from all over, and it's a blast. And Matt is the only adaptive athlete that's racing in the event. So
Wow.
it's really cool.
Trailblazer.
Yeah.
So you, at this point, you've got a trailer that you pull.
Yeah.
You've got the specialized chairs.
Yeah.
You've got boats.
Yeah.
None of that is cheap.
No.
So how have you been able to afford to put all that together for the team?
Wabash is a pretty amazing community for people who aren't from here. And this is a place you want to be, especially when you're trying to do something like this, because people want to get involved. So through donations, Community Foundation grant helped us with a trailer. Then Mid-City Trailers up in Elkhart gave us an amazing deal on a trailer when they found out they wanted to be part of the family after they heard what we were doing. So we got a trailer that we can put 7 chairs in. And so we've got 6 that we've purchased for here through donations. So the chairs, if you see us out racing, have logos on the wheels, on the wheel covers. Those were because of donations from companies and individuals to help sponsor that chair. So when we started, we were like, these chairs are about $5,000 a piece. And so we knew that's about $30,000. So if we could do $1,000 for a logo on a chair, if we could get 4 to 5 companies or individuals to do that, we could get a chair. And so we got 2 to begin with, and I would haul them around in my back of my vehicle, break them down, take the wheels off and everything to move them around for the first year until we realized this is going to get bigger. And if we just add more chairs, it's going to get a lot bigger. So we got the trailer, and then I was scared to death of triathlons. So I was at June last year, I could go 25 yards in the pool, and then I was dying on the wall. But I was being challenged by Barb. And at this time now, she's made me like the vice president of MyTeam Triumph Northern Indiana. And this is the Wabash branch of that. And so I figured I better figure out how to swim. And then we're going to need to get some boats. So we'll get 1 boat. They've got 4. That'll probably be good because we only have like 1 person who wants to do it. And man, that was an under guess on what we were going to do. So we've got 3 boats now, and we're doubling up captains in boats. So now we're jumping into swim, and we're putting 2 captains per boat sometimes because we've got so many wanting to be part of a triathlon. And so we've grown to that. I got to go home and tell my wife, hey, by the way, we got to buy a new vehicle because I need something to pull a trailer now. So to haul the trailer around to go to all the races. And we've been blessed to have a hangar space donated to us out at the airport here in Wabash so we can put the trailer inside. And we want to take care of all of these blessings that we receive from the community. We receive these funds to allow us to have these chairs and to have the trailer and to have the boats and everything. So we spend a lot of time taking care of it and making sure it's stored inside, making sure things are maintained well. So because it's such a blessing to have a community that embraces this.
And if somebody's listening, a business or an individual, and they want to be able to contribute, how can they reach you, or how can they go ahead and make a contribution?
They can message us through our Facebook page. So we've got MyTeam Triumph Wabash County is our Facebook page. Getting a hold of me, and we can, if you want to try to include a link or something in your show notes or whatever for that, getting a hold of me. So those are the easiest ways. We don't do like credit card donations or things like that. It's been companies or individuals just giving us a check. We are a 501c3.
Okay.
So we are a non-for-profit, so they receive that tax-free donation or whatever, or credit. So if they want to donate to us, we would gladly receive it because we operate right now on right around an $8,000 to $10,000 a year budget to help us with replacing shirts, buying shirts, replacing equipment on the chairs as things wear out, along with some events do require us to pay entry fees. And we want to have no barrier for a family to experience what we do.
Mm-hmm.
One of our biggest races of the year is the Indy Mini. And so we take the captains down there. We cover the hotel for the families the night before. And so there's no cost for them for hotel and parking. We do a hotel right by the start line, so it's easy for the captains to get ready to race in the morning. So we cover all of their entry fees, the hotels, everything for them. And then the same for like Matt's donut race that he loves. So his sister and her husband travel with Matt over to that race. And so we take care of their hotel and all for them, because we don't want a barrier of a hotel, because we know that for families with a child with special abilities,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. There's a lot of expenses that I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And even just trying to work and have their child cared for, especially for their school age, is difficult. So if we can remove barriers to allow them to be able to participate, we want to do that in any way, shape, or form we can.
Sure. And covering their hotels, I mean, just, the ability to just wake up 4:00 in the morning to drive a couple hours to a race may not be possible
Right.
with their feeding schedules and everything. So that's really, really cool that you guys cover that. I do need to give the local events a huge shout out, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Dam to Dam and the Run the River and the Visit Wabash County team provides entry fee for all of your captains and angels.
Yep, absolutely. And Run the River is our largest event between Warsaw or Kosciuszko County and Wabash County. We end up having to bring all of the chairs that we have up in Warsaw down here. We fill all of them. We fill all of our chairs. It has become the largest event that MyTeam Triumph attends every year.
Yeah.
It is right here at Run the River.
Lindsay, earlier you were talking about the changes that you've seen in the captains. What about for the families? I can only imagine that the idea that their child is now included is got to be so impactful.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually reached out to a few of our captains' families and asked them for some feedback and how they felt like things were impacting them. And so I think one of the biggest things is just those relationships being developed and the angels reaching out to them, even if it's not during a race. So if they know somebody's struggling, if they, just want to say hello or something, reaching out to the families, and that is helping them to feel supported in a new way. Because I would imagine that it's somewhat isolating in a lot of ways to, not everybody understands that world. I work in it, but I don't live in it. And so it's a completely different arena. And so I think that they're starting to feel, they're seeing that inclusivity. They're seeing their child, as proud as we are for our children, they get those opportunities frequently. And so this is a new opportunity, and not everybody's going to be a runner. Matt, that's a special thing that Matt gets to do, and so you get to do something that a lot of other people don't get to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to be able to brag about that. And so I think the families are just feeling embraced. They're seeing their loved one being embraced. And I can't imagine that feeling, how good that has to feel when they're out with them in the community and someone recognizes them and says, "Hey, Matt, how are you?" And they have a conversation, because that wouldn't have happened 50, 60 years ago,
Right.
And so I think that, they're feeling the power of that as well.
We recently had the Wabash County Dam to Dam, and to see Hunter out there on the course, who is one of the newest captains, the way that his family comes out and supports in all of his activities now. They were out there on the course with their cowbells and checking on us and what can we do for you. They are amazing, a new addition to the Wabash County team.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch him. And Hunter jumped in with both feet, like right off the start. His first event ever was the Syracuse Triathlon. And then he went right on to another triathlon. And now he's done distance cycling, and he's going to be doing the Geist Half Marathon on Saturday this week. So, and his family travels with him, and the cowbells, the cheering, that's super special for everybody.
And he showed up at the Wabash City Pool. That was the first time I met Hunter. Was that the first time that he was kind of trying out the chairs and things, right?
That was the first time, he came to try out the chair. So I met his mother and him up at Camp We Can, which is up in Rochester. And I'd been told, hey, you ought to go up there. There's a camp that's been run in Fulton County for years with special ability children all the way up to adults. And so I got invited to come up there. So I went up and just was there for 2 days, had our tent set up, our trailer open, chairs out, and they have the children go one direction, the parents get a respite for the day. And so they had me speak to the parents and just tell them what it is we do. And from that, Hunter's family showed up at our swimming event at the pool, and yeah, he's all in. Everything we do, he wants to be at.
Yeah, he's nonverbal.
Nonverbal.
But I've learned in the few races I've been able to be around him how to communicate, like you were talking about earlier. And he does. He carries on a conversation with you, and his smile will light up a room as well.
Yeah.
Not quite like Matt's. I mean, Matt has the biggest smile.
Absolutely.
Matt, we've heard a lot from your angel, Todd. But I've got a couple more questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Todd and what makes him such a great teammate and a friend.
He's a fun guy and he got me another walker.
He got you a new walker.
Yeah.
Do you and Todd have any pre-race rituals or jokes or traditions that you get ready before you get ready for every race?
No, but Todd always wears a headband. I think I should get one too.
Yeah, we need to get you a headband, but we do have a post-race ritual that we do if there's one in the area.
Yeah.
Where do we head after we get done racing if there's one in the area? What do we go to? Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Little Jesus chicken after a race if there's some in the area. Absolutely.
And if somebody is thinking about coming to join MyTeam Triumph, whether that's as an angel or as a captain, what would you tell them about MyTeam Triumph?
I would say, try it, you will like it. All the people involved are really nice.
I would agree. Everyone I've met's really, really nice. How has being a part of the Team Triumph changed your life?
I love traveling to all the races, spending time with Todd, and meeting people. I love people seeing me race. It makes me happy and proud.
As you should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you should be.
Yeah.
And Lindsay mentioned about Matt being a runner. He is a runner because if you've been around for the 3 years we've been racing together now and watched him at his first race when he crossed the finish line to now. So our captains, if able, and they want to get out of the chair to cross that finish line, we do that with them. And we'll try to determine with family and with them, like, how far is that distance? Is it 10 yards? Is it a half mile?
Mm-hmm.
And for Matt, we know what that distance is, but we had planned on Matt using his walker as his way to go across the finish line at the Indy Mini, which was his first long event that he did. And well, if anybody's been to the Indy Mini, you got 30,000 runners, you got all the families and everything, and us new at this, trying to have a plan of where to get the walker and all. Our wires got crossed a little bit, and I was coming down the right side. Everybody had the walker on the left side. I didn't see it and all, and I'm like, Matt, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to ad-lib it right now. And so we slowed down. I pulled him out of the chair about 10 yards from the finish and figured out that I needed to be on his right side for him to hold on. And we crossed the finish line, him holding on to me, and we got across, hands in the air, and that's the only way we finish now. And he has gotten faster to where actually he's run out of his shoes a couple times. So we finished in a sock once. So, but yeah, so he's running out of his shoes. He's getting faster as we finish. But yeah, he's a runner, absolutely. So he may be in a chair for 13.1 and whatever distance, but yeah, he's a runner at heart right there.
Mm.
And Lindsay, as you mentioned, you had just started running when Todd approached you.
Yep.
You've done some events now.
I have.
If the rumors are true, next year
Yeah.
you may be more than just a runner.
I guess we're going on record, aren't we?
Yeah. The challenge is out.
Yeah,
So.
we are. We are being held accountable. Thanks, Adam. You get me in some situations. I don't know. Yeah, so a triathlon is on the bucket list. So we're going to start training this winter, I guess.
All right.
And I think you'll have a great coach in the pool if you need some help.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for MyTeam Triumph, for the Wabash chapter, it's also grown outside of just running the local captains.
Yeah.
You've actually picked up kind of a secondary organization that you're running for now.
Yeah, we have. So yeah, we've branched out. We've got captains running from 4 different counties now, running with us. And at one of our races at Fort for Fitness, we noticed a group that was running with American flags. We saw a lot of American flags coming across the finish line and kind of wondered what that was all about. So started doing some research and found out it was an organization called Flags for Fallen that's based out of Portland, Indiana. And so I started sending Richard messages. I didn't have any way to contact him. I'm going through Facebook Messenger. And I honestly thought he thought, yeah, this guy's nuts, or that's really not, there's no way they're going to take on something else with what they're doing if he saw our Facebook page. And it took about 6 months to finally make contact with him. And so this organization looks for and is open to families who have lost somebody too early. So Richard was 82nd Airborne, and part of their ethos is the flag is for all. And so they honor families who've lost a loved one by an American flag being carried during a race while somebody is wearing a picture of them on their shirt and their date of their death and all, and carries that across the finish line, and the flag is folded and then given to the family. And so we have partnered with them, and this year, by the end of the Fort for Fitness, we'll have done that for 12 different families. Wow. And carrying flags. And what has been really cool is, like for Matt, I mean, he's got somebody being for him, pushing him through a race, but this gives him the opportunity to be for somebody else. And so he's carried flags for some fallen soldiers, for a young person that unfortunately just made a bad decision, a permanent decision to a temporary problem, and had committed suicide, and the family was just still in the deep depths of grief and all. And that mother, it was so special. At the end of that race, she ended up messaging me on her way home, and because she had asked, would it be okay if she hugged the person that was giving her the flag? And I'm like, absolutely. You could, I think Matt's going to allow you to hug him. And so we got done at the triathlon, and we folded the flag and helped Matt out of the race chair, and he handed her the flag, and she hugged him for, I don't know, it was a long time that she was hugging him. But then she called on the way home and said, that's the first time that it's felt like I was hugging my son again. Oh. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. The opportunity, we're just a bunch of goofballs that like to run and exercise and go and compete in these events and just see how hard we can push ourselves. But the impact of doing that, of carrying a flag like that. So we partner with Flags for Fallen. And I think as of date, according to Richard, we're carrying more flags than any other organization around the United States that they're partnered with across finish lines this year, which has been really neat.
Well, it kind of aligns with what you've done with MyTeam Triumph here locally. Go big or go home.
Yeah.
You bring it.
Exactly. And it's another way the community, I mean, again, this Wabash community, I go to the hardware store, and it's like, we're carrying more flags. Like, we're blowing up Flags for Fallen's budget for flags. What can we do about buying some flags here? And how many do you want? Well, maybe a dozen. Here's 20. There you go, and so it's another way that, again, this great Wabash community just jumps in and must be a part of something.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And I can't wait. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for allowing me to participate with MyTeam Triumph as I can. It's changed my outlook on racing. I've raced for a long time and honestly had kind of lost interest in it until I got to know you and Matt at the Run Club.
Yeah.
And you've given me and inspired me to show up and continue to do this and live a healthy lifestyle and, help people like Matt charge through the finish line. So,
and I think, Matt, we need to flip the script on him. I want to hear from Adam. What was it like the first time you got to compete with us and go and run and all?
Well, I think the first event I did, was the Indy Mini.
Yeah.
And the week before, I was already signed up to do a large race. Hopefully it was going to be one of the largest races I've ever done. My goal was to run 150 miles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I'd hurt myself, but I went 75 miles. And the entire time that I was out there, I knew that the next weekend I was racing the Indy Mini, and I was going to be out there with Matt and Evie and you, and that no matter what, I was going to show up down there and I was going to run. It was unbelievable. Never thought that I would be at the beginning of the mini marathon.
Yeah.
And we led the race.
And we've got pictures to prove it. The Kenyans and the professionals were behind us. So,
But the moment that got me the most was as we're approaching Speedway, before we went into the track, you had warned me, we're going to go off to the side and Matt will give everyone a high five. And Matt, I don't know how you didn't have a bruised hand the next day, because anybody that would give you a high five, you were out there fully living that moment. And that got me. I mean, that was the most excitement that I've ever had at any race. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
yeah, I warn runners that you come run with us, it might wreck your world a little bit on what you're going to do in the future running, because it does. It changes you when you get the opportunity to be for somebody with like everything you got. Like, you're from nutrition to every ounce of energy you got. You want to give them your best.
The best thing that was said to me at the Goshen Triumph, before we raced with Hunter up there, is his parents said, Hunter loves racing and he loves to go fast.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to go. When I get on the bike, I don't care how bad it hurts. We're giving Hunter the best day ever right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
It was
get you out of bed at 4 a.m. to train or whatever is knowing like I want to give him my best.
Yeah.
Every time. So.
I know. So you've now gotten out of me my kind of favorite race moment, and we already know Matt's eating donuts every.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I know it's just like choosing your favorite child, but do you have a moment that sticks out in all the races that you've done?
Oh man. Honestly, probably like the first one that comes with Matt comes to mind was that Winona Triathlon. I ended up sending Lindsay this great big long text that was like a book, about it. But it was just like, I had a fear of triathlons. It was a swimming thing. I can bike, I can run. It's that swim thing. It just hadn't been a swimmer. I've been a runner. And so, but it was a goal. It was that bucket list goal I always wanted to do. But after being so involved with Team Triumph, I didn't want to do it myself. I wanted, because Barb kept telling me, just come along with us, come along, swim beside me, I'll pull the boat and stuff, just swim along and we'll get it done. We'll get you through it that way. I'm like, but I want to do it with Matt. Like, I want to cross the finish line knowing we did the whole thing. We did the swim, we did the bike, we did the run, we did the whole thing together. And that's probably one of my favorite pictures of all of our finishes. Yeah, actually, Beacon Credit Union lets you put a picture on a debit card now, of all things. And like, my debit card is us finishing the Winona Lake Triathlon last year, 2024, with arms in the air coming across the finish line. Yeah, it was like, it was the coolest thing. And to say, at the end, to be able to say, I'm a triathlete now, but I'm a triathlete and Matt's a triathlete.
That's right.
So yeah, like that, the fact that he is one now, and now he's won like 6 of them. He did 6 this year. So man, yeah, it's amazing.
You got to finish the Triple Crown series, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Lindsay, do you have a favorite moment, whether it's training or racing?
Yeah, I do. So we did the Blueberry Festival a couple of years ago. And again, with the running, you stay kind of side by side with people. Sometimes they go ahead of you, sometimes they go behind you. And that particular race, I was running with Kim. And this lady was beside us pretty much the whole time. I mean, again, she'd go in front, we'd go in front, just kind of back and forth. But at the end, when Kim got out, she was beside us and she just took this lady's hand and kind of walked with her. And I think that was the moment that you're like, this really does bring not just your community together, because, that's in Plymouth, but it's bringing other communities together as well. And so to me, to see her walk across with someone else that was a complete stranger at the beginning of that race, and, 40 minutes later, they're crossing the finish line together. Yeah. That's what gets you when you're at those races. Yeah. So that is probably my favorite memory. My other one involves Kim as well, just because I run with her, is singing at Run the River with her. You can barely breathe. I can barely breathe. And she's singing with me. And I think those are the moments to me that just mean so much.
It's the connection part. Matt, you and I have a connection, and it's now a tradition at the Dam to Dam that we're going to spray each other with water. So as we get ready to wrap things up here, Todd, is there anything else that our listeners need to know about MyTeam Triumph?
Probably the biggest is come out and get involved. Come out and see what we're about. If it's something that, you've thought about wanting to run for an angel, if it's something that you've thought about wanting to get involved with, that you want to try it out, don't be afraid. Jump in with us. For families that have a child with a special ability, whether it be a young child, we've raced with 3-year-olds and we've raced with 73-year-olds. We will adapt and figure out how to get your child into a race. But for them, please reach out and talk to us. If you think your child would like this, if we need to do a one-on-one, we'll just come to your house and grab them, go for a run together or whatever. But yeah, and probably the other biggest thing is thank you. Thank you so much to a community that loves well, whether it's their donations, whether it's cheering at events, whether it's donating like here, insurance companies taking care of entry fees and making sure there are no barriers for us. Thank you for the community of Wabash that loves like that, not only with their pocketbooks and their funds, but also with their hands and their hearts. That means so much.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I will definitely make sure that I put contact information in there in the show notes for you.
Yeah.
And then also to the Facebook page, because no matter if you're a runner or cyclist or not, if you just want to be inspired and want to see the joy that this organization's doing in our world, follow the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And every weekend there's a 5K, 10K triathlon going on. And Todd does an amazing job of updating some pictures on there. But to see the smile on everyone's face, family, angels, and captains, and it's amazing. Lindsay, anything that you'd like to add at the end?
I don't really know how you follow up on that. No, I would agree. Just try it out, regardless of what your ability is. I walked the Blueberry Festival with some individuals this past couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so even just walking side by side, if you're not able to push a chair or something, it's just try it out. We would love to have you embrace that.
And you mentioned it earlier, Evie's mom was not an athlete.
No.
But she's been inspired, and she will be running her first half marathon in a week.
No, this will be her third.
Oh, this is her third now.
This is her fourth half marathon. Yeah. So she's an animal.
That was
so
like a year and a half ago that she hadn't run one.
Yeah. So she ended up being inspired by us taking Evie on that Indy Mini half marathon that she trained. We put on helped her with a training plan and got her through. And she ran Geist half marathon last year, which was our hilliest half marathon we run. And then this spring, she ran another half marathon, and then now she's running Geist again this coming weekend. And she's done 3 triathlons in there on top of other 5Ks and all. And then Evie's dad jumps in at for Fitness. So for below the 10K distance, Micah jumps in. We're going past that. Molly is doing it. And then we've got some amazing angels that have come alongside, from my niece flying back from Arkansas to do her first Geist half with her, to Sarah here in town, and others that are jumping in to be a second angel with her to help encourage her along the way, and then give her a break some with pushing and co-angel a chair, which is awesome. So yeah.
And Molly just finished the Dam to Dam 40-mile route.
40-mile route. Last year she did 15, and this year she pushed it out to 40. So, and it's been so amazing to watch families get to race like that. We've got the Weavers, Ryan, their daughter is pushed by their son, Raven, in a lot of those events. Maddie from over in Miami County, her 2 brothers, who one's the nose tackle for North Miami's football team, just did a 5K with her. He's like, I'm dying. I'm so slow. I said, I guarantee you're the fastest nose tackle out here running today. So we've got siblings pushing their siblings. We've got parents racing their children. And then we will jump in as angels to encourage and go along beside them.
Matt, Todd, and Lindsay, thank you for joining me in the podcast studio. I cannot wait for our listeners to hear and learn more about MyTeam Triumph. And one thing that I did want to get into a little bit, we ran out of time, so maybe we'll have to bring you back at the end of 2026, is to learn all about the new events that are going to come on board in 2026 and how many new athletes, both captains and angels, that we get after this recording.
Yeah.
But thank you. What an incredible conversation. And thank you for sharing your time with me tonight in the podcast studio.
Yeah.
This podcast is made possible by the generous support from the Lisa Gilman Investment Fund, the Sandra Kunkel Trust, Mark and Amy Ford, Paperworks Industries, the City of Wabash, the Community Foundation of Wabash County, and Visit Wabash County. Until next time, I'm Adam Stakeman, and this is ThriveIN Wabash County. Thanks, Matt.